that probably we have been
This
able
call is now being
to tap into later in life, because with platforms like Apple and NASA, they give opportunity to young individuals from the age of 13 years and above. So my goal is for us to have individuals from Kenya also able to tap into such opportunities. And yeah, that's the whole initiative, and just introducing tech early to just build that confidence so that by the time somebody is 20 years old, they are able to just have the courage to face on tech and have a broader experience. Um, yes, so today I shall be taking you through, okay, for the next 3 days, I shall be taking you through Excel. I am going to be using Excel web, mainly because I have a Linux system. So there'll be some functionalities that probably I'll just be a little bit limited to. But if you have Excel on your machine, we should just be able to work together. I have most of the things, so I won't leave you totally behind. Yeah, so let me just go ahead and share my screen. This is an interactive session, so you can just admit yourself and ask a question, or you can drop it in the chat section. You have that option as well. So don't feel shy. Yeah, so and it's nice to have you here, and thank you for creating your time as well to just learn. Okay, so um, with the assumption that this is a session that is starting from the introduction and to the advanced, so I will mostly cover the popular functions that we can be able to use, and just the basics that you can be able to use with Excel. So if you're familiar with this, you can just take it as a moment to just build on that, and yeah, support those who are not yet familiar. So this is the Excel interface. So I am using Excel Web, which you can just, if you were using Linux, like myself, you can just be able to get it from the Office 365. You sign up, and you'll be able to access the features. You'll just have all this, the OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, Teams, and just the admin. But yeah, so with that's what you'll just be able to do. Just sign up, and you'll be able to have an interface like I'm having. So these are columns, what we have from left to right, with the alphabet. And then we have our rows, which is indicated by numbers from 1 up to whichever number is at the bottom. So those are our rows. So whatever we have in the green box, or whatever, whenever it's up in either of these cells, which is now called a cell, whatever is highlighted with a border of green, that is called a cell. And if I just when I move to the bottom of this cell to this end, you can see the cursor becomes like a plus sign. So that's my cursor. This area here, all this is called a ribbon. It's called a ribbon. It's just the area with the different commands. So the ribbon has commands which are um, divided into tabs. So we have the home tab. Okay, we also have the file tab. We have the home tab, insert, formulas, data, review, view, and the help. So for the home tab, it has various commands which are divided into groups, as you can see. So we have the clipboard, this one called the clipboard. You can see it has its own name, this area, and you can see the division. So probably I can just, though this one has been made transparent, the undo, just whenever I write anything here, you see it becomes active. So this is just the undo. So I'm able to either undo whatever I have just done or redo it. So that's just basically that. So we also have the clipboard, which allows us just to copy and paste, and you can also have options, paste formulas, though we shall be able to just maneuver also to the other paste options in a few. But yes, and then now we have the cut, the copy, the format painter. So that's just what we have with the clipboard. And then now we come ahead to the font, which you can just be able to manipulate our text, add some color, fill the cell with some color, change the font size, the font type, make it bold, italics. That's, I think, okay, let me not assume everyone knows, but yes. And then now we have the alignment, which aligns it to the center, to the right, aligning your text that is inside the cell. You can indent, you can increase the indent, decrease it, align to the bottom. Yeah, and then you can also wrap text. Probably if your word is a little bit longer and you want to make that word visible without probably increasing the width of the column, you can use the wrap text. And then now we have other options, merge and center. Probably if you want to merge and then merge across, merge the cells and merge the cells. So that is just something that we shall be able to practice, and you can also be able to practice on your own. So we also have, just also that. We also have the numbers, the number. So the number is able to just alter, probably, this is basically when you just write 1 or 3 something, and then yeah, so it's currently at general, so I can be able to make it a number. As you can see, it comes with also the decimal. I can be able to make it a currency. By default, it gives us the $sign. I can change that. I can change that default. So there's a shortcut here. Okay, there's the pound, the Yemen. I don't really know these currencies, but yeah. So, but now we can, let us get for our own country. So just come here to more number formats, and then you can see there for all these countries. So I can just come, so as is Kenya shillings. Yeah, here it is. So yeah, so and then I say okay. Yeah, so you can see now it's in Kenya shillings. We'll have the date option in case I have a date. So let me just get to another cell. So for the date option, you can have, probably if you have 07 stroke, okay, let us use today's date, 23 stroke 03, press enter. I can now come ahead. It will also just show as a general and just leave it as that, but let us see what options it will give us. So you have the short date, we have the long date. So the thing is that I haven't given it a year, so let us just give it an year. 2020. So let me just increase the size of this row. So to increase, you just hover at the top of that column and you just increase the size of that specific column. So I can just come ahead. Okay, I can just come ahead to the more number formats. Probably I wanted to spell the whole thing. Wednesday. Let's see how that will come ahead. Okay, let me first start with month. Okay, so and then okay, whenever you're using your Excel and then it shows hash, it means that the size of your column is a little bit small. So I'll just increase that. So you can see now we have our long date, short date, it goes back to that. You can also, there are just so many options. So it's whichever you want to choose. You can be able to choose. Then there's one which has also the time. So in case you also want to include the time, and you can see there's the 24-hour and the 12-hour. So it's whichever you want to do to implement, you're able to do that. So that's that. As for the digits, I'll just touch on something else also on this number. You can have now the option of, wait, is my number? So you cannot touch, or I just want to touch on it being a percentage. And you can see there's so many other options, there's scientific. So those are just things you can be able to play around. So yeah, so let me see. So I can come here to my more number options. Uh, yeah, just leave it at 2 decimal places. So I don't think there's anything like 2300%. Yeah, that's better. So this is for increasing the decimal, and this is for decreasing the decimal. Probably if you just want it to be like that, you can use these icons. Okay, so we also have the tables. So with this, you're able to probably, if you have, okay, whenever you have like your table and you want to add some conditional to it, and this, we're just going to look at it whenever we get into manipulating the data. So you'll be able to compare if the cells should be greater than, less than, between, equal to, text that contains, date occurring, duplicate. So we'll just be able to perform some operations with that. So top 10 items, top 10%, bottom, and then data bars. This is something we're just going to be able to look in before the 3 days. Then color scales, icon set, so you can be able to see what we have. Yeah, and then you can be able to remove those rules that you have given for that set, and then you can be able to manage those rules as well. And then we have format as table. So this is just for highlighting probably a theme you want for your data. Yeah, that's basic. And then we have also the styles that you might want to implement with your cells. So yeah, so I hope. So instead of just writing total, you can just use this as well. So that is that. Okay. Yeah, but we shall look into that. You can also insert a row. So you can insert sheet rows, columns, sheet columns, insert cells and right shift, insert cells and shift down, insert sheets. So this is basically for cells. And then you can delete those rows and also the whole sheet. You can also format, so alter the row height. So that is something we can be able to look into right now. So for the row height, you see I can increase the row height. I have already shown you for the column, so it's just that. So I can just undo that. So AutoSum, this is something we're going to look at, but basically if probably you want to get, so okay, you can also alternate between two different sheets. So I have several sheets. So at the bottom of my screen, that's just what I'm using, okay? So I have just several sheets in standby for the lesson. So in case I want, okay, let me just pick for this. So in case I want to calculate the sum of this first row, I will just click on it and then Control Shift and then my arrow. I will pick the left arrow or the right arrow. Yeah, and then do that. So and then I just click on AutoSum. So it is just showing hashtags because the column is a little bit small, the width. So I'll just increase that so that you can see the total. So that's the sum of that specific column. In case by mistake you highlight the first column, though for this, of course, these are characters. In case probably you have something like student marks, and maybe you have like the registration number starting here. So you wouldn't want those student marks to be, the registration number to be included in the summation of the auto sum or the total sum. So what do? In case you just Control Shift arrow, and then you cannot just come ahead and deselect that specific column I do not want. So to deselect, I will just press Control and remove that specific column. So now it is starting from this column. So with the drop down auto sum, you can find average, the number of counts they are. So for my case, when you say count numbers, you mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8. And then I can find the maximum, the minimum, and there's also more. So probably you can just do average for now. So yeah, so that gives us the average. Yeah, so okay, let me also show you something. Let me undo that. So it's not a must you start from this end of your Excel. You can also start on the other end. Same thing, Control Shift. Now use the opposite arrow. So to deselect, Control click on that specific tab you don't want to be selected. So it will just select from here up to here, or from here up to here. So in our case, so if I can just I do that sum, I can just say give me the maximum only. So it will give me the maximum of that, which is 500 Kenya shillings. So yeah, that's that. So we have the clear. So clear format is probably if you have the condition and maybe you want to remove let me just, okay. So for this that has been highlighted right now, I can clear the format. So you can see it has removed the Kenya shilling sign that was before each value. So I have removed that format. So I can also clear the content, which I don't want to do now. So you can also sort and filter. So you can do it in ascending, descending. You can also custom for sort. So let us take a data set that you can sort. Um, I believe this is a good data set. It has, we can just sort the first names. So let us do that. So I will just come ahead and, okay, to select just this column specifically. So I'll just, this is where I want the sorting to start, and then I'll just do Control Shift and then the arrow that points down. So that has selected just that column. So I can sort it in ascending. We found some data next to your selection. Do you want to expand what's selected and then sort? Oh, okay. Okay, so the thing is, as much as I want to sort it out, this data is, there is data next to it. So I think what you can do is just seclude that data. Let me just remove that. Let me seclude this data so I can copy it and then probably just in a new sheet. I can now paste it. So let me just increase that length. So, okay, it didn't pick the header, the first name header, because I just selected from that specific cell, from the first cell which I wanted to be sorted. So let us now sort this out. So yeah, so you can see now it has been sorted from A to, you can see B, C. So I can also do that in descending as well. Yeah, so the last one is white man. So yeah, that is that. You can also find and select. So for example, for this dataset, I might want to find, I think we saw the name Freddy. So probably I might want to do that. So find next. So in case there is any other person with that name in this data set, I would have gotten the option of finding, I could have been able to click find next and find another Freddy error. You just have seen that this button would not be, the color, it would still be highlighted if there were more options. And you can also, if you note there are more options, you can now click find all and see. So for my case, it's only one option and it shows me that. So I might want to replace that. So I might maybe want to replace that with Mac. So replace. So that has that. So I hope you have seen that Freddy has been replaced. So I can't find the data. I can no longer find Freddy. So let us just leave this and find Mark just one more time. Find all just to, so yeah, so you can see it has taken that cell A40. Okay, so that is that. And then now we have, I don't know if you guys have this option of analyze data. So remember there's a new version of Excel. So 2019, if I'm not wrong, I don't know if that's the latest. So there are some features that probably those versions have that probably as you're lacking, and we have that probably that was already been outdated or it's being found in different areas. So with the analysis data, what happens is it just gives you an idea of how the data can be analyzed. So for my case, I've already highlighted which data I want it to be analyzed. So because I only have one field here, um, let us say insert a pivot table. Let's see.
Excuse me, Stella.
Yeah.
Peter has a question on the chat, so do you mind answering him? It's on about sorting the data.
Okay. Can you search with the data? not scheduled, so that we see how to sort effects. Oh, not secluded. Okay, can you sort with the other columns? Okay, no problem. I'll do that. Will the recording be available? Yes, it will be for Brenda. So, um, I don't know if it will be able to compare. Okay, it has already, but this is not really something that, okay, it just tells us that each value is represented once and the grand total is 60. So let us do it with the other data. Okay, yeah, so here's our data. So um, first to highlight, I will first start by highlighting the whole data set that I want to be sorted. So I'll say Control Shift, and then now I will just move my, okay, sorry, cancel, Control Shift. Yeah, so I'll pick up to the last row. Okay, so let me just remove this part and then let us try and sort it out. So sorting ascending. So it has sorted from A up to W. So if I want to sort in descending, um, yeah, I can see it has started from Whitman now up to yeah, that name. Okay. Yeah. So let us also implement analyze data while we are here. It's just a short way of getting conclusions from our data. So, okay. So, um, so you see, it tells us that the gender queer, we can also just from this side, from here, remember, as you know, as a data scientist now, and I know if you sign up, if you create a new account on either of the social media platforms, nowadays you usually have the option of saying if you're female, male, rather not say. There's also the option of, okay, all those other options that are in this day and time. So we can just be able to do that. So you can see now for us, we have gender queer, those who identify themselves as gender fluid, non-binary. So just click on these ellipses here. However, if I can't be able to get that information totally from here, you can just click workbook statistics. Okay, though this will give me for the whole workbook, just the tables, pivot, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So distinct count field 60. So which fields? Okay. I don't need that now. Yeah. Oh, I think, okay, polygender, male, agender, non-binary, and gender fluid. Is there any other option apart from that? I actually don't think so. So I don't even know. But there's nothing I was looking for. So let us insert a pivot table. yeah, which basically tells us just a repetition, yeah, of that. Yeah. So we just get, that's basically I think what we can be able to really analyze from this, since you can't analyze the email or the name or the IP addresses, since we assume all of them use different IP addresses. So I think that's why our data is just relying on gender, because that is where we have some repetition and we can be able to just make some conclusions from that. But we shall be able to create the pivot table. I mean, the pivot table we have already created. We shall be able to create bar charts and all those other charts in these 3 days. Okay, so that's just for the home. So we have now for our insert tab commands. So this is just to add things to our worksheet. So this is a worksheet. In case I didn't mention that, this is an Excel worksheet. So we have the tables group. Probably want to um, insert our table in your worksheet. So I just want to reduce this sheet at the bottom, these worksheets. Don't need others. Okay. I know inputting the data is a little bit hectic, so I believe it's just important I show you a tactic I used to input data, because for most, probably if your Excel allows you to export, um, for me it couldn't allow me to export. As you can see, I don't have that option for exporting a data set. So what I did is I came and downloaded there's this site that I found. Do I remember it? Okay, I saved it as a bookmark. Yeah, mockarrow.com, because I was looking for mock data. So you can see it's able to give me some datas. So sign up. Okay, I didn't have to do this because I didn't want to have to do all that at that time. And at this moment, we're just getting to just familiarize ourselves with the Excel. So we won't make it complicated, but from tomorrow you can just sign up so that you can just I will pick a data set and then I will tell you which data set it is. So from this data set, it automatically led me here. So I can preview my data set. So this is where I was able to get the first name, last name, email, gender, I mean gender, and IP address and all that. So I didn't pick all those rows because the data set had 1,000 rows. So if you're able to export a data set with your Excel, good for you. So you can pick 50 rows or something. I changed the format from comma CSV, that is comma separated values, to XML, so they can just be immediately able to copy paste that. And then I downloaded it. So once you download it, this is mainly for those who are using Linux. Once you download it, you will get it. So for mine, here it is. So I just opened it up because I still can't be able to export it even if it's in my machine. So unless you know how to, I'm open to learn. So yeah, so here's my data set. So what I did is I didn't need the ID part. So I just did the same thing like we have just done. Control Shift and then Control Shift. Okay. And then yeah, click on your mouse and then you just pick up to the last. And then once I did that, I just Control C, copy paste, copied it, and then now I came to my Excel and in the home, I was able to now paste the values. So I don't know if it's doing that. Okay, I don't think so. Let me, okay, I can just copy and then paste the values. So yeah. So yeah, that's how I was able to get my data set. So yeah. So what I liked about this that I wasn't able to really maneuver it because I've just realized it a little bit late. Is that I can be able to alter the type. I can now, I have commerce. So I think tomorrow we'll do a lot of commerce or I'll pick a health data set. Can you paste the link for the site? Okay. So I was just able to do that. So I will share in the WhatsApp group which data sets we shall use before tomorrow's class. Just copy that. So yeah, that's that. But for the rest, I had to input it. For the numbers, I just wanted us to be able to see them. Okay, for this one, I also used. I came here. It said, okay, new workspace. Clicked on analyze data, and then it gave me a try sample data. So that came with that data set. So you can just be able to do the same for yourself. Yeah, so that's that. I just wanted to highlight that. Let me just delete this because I already have it. Okay. So um, I was at the insert. So with the insert, you can be able to see that you can insert a function, probably sum, average sum, standard deviation, if probably want, if maybe all the cells are occupied or count if, and so these are things we shall be able to look into. And then, okay, let me just undo that. So you can also be able to add a form, though that is not something I think we can be able to do for now. And then you can add a table. So you can also add a pivot table, something we have already seen. And then a picture, I'm able to add some shapes into that. Maybe this is mostly something we are going to implement in storytelling. Probably want to give a story or a conclusion of your data set. So this is something we shall be able to implement. Um, Microsoft 365 also just add some add-ins to that. Um, yeah, so these of course are purchased. So yeah, and then from the office store, and then now you can add a column, a 2D stacked column. These are things we should just be able to look into once we start getting into analyzing our data. 2D line chart, a pie chart, this is what we call a donut and the 2D, and then you have an inverted bar, so still 2D. You have the 2D area, so display a trend of values over time or categories, and you can see it also gives you a small description of how you can be able to implement that. This display a trend of contribution of each value over time or categories. Yeah, stack display a trend, the trend of percentage each value contributes over time or categories. So these are things we shall be able to do. So there's a scatter plot here as well. Scatter with only markers, compare pair of values. Use it when the values are not in the x-axis in order, when they represent separate measurements. So this is a scatter with a smooth line as well. So it's two in one. Basically, it has a smooth and also the scatter. So you can just use it to compare. We also have just the smooth line, and then we have the straight lines with markers. So they're just used to compare. So those are things we should be able to look into. So we have also the other charts. We have the waterfall, so show cumulative effects of a series of positive and negative value. And then we have the funnel, show progressively smaller stages in process. The tree map, compare values across hierarchy levels. We have the sunburst. There's a name we use this in R programming, Cox or something. I'll get it tomorrow. So compare values across hierarchy values. So and then now this gets to statistical histogram, Pareto, um, box and Wixar. So this is mainly used to just check the variations within the data, probably the lower quartile, the upper quartile, the median. You can be able to use that. And then you now have display values iterative to a center point. Probably want to display a value with reference to the center point. How much has probably the data deviated from that specific value. The same for this and for that field radar, radar with markers. So yeah, you can also add a link in your table. You can add a link to lead probably to an external data set, external information, probably probably an image or something. That is something we can be able to do, and comment. So comment is mostly when you're viewing somebody's Excel worksheet. Probably somebody has told you, has sent you an Excel worksheet, you want to correct, or maybe you just want to tell them, oh, there are some values that you have input incorrectly here. Um, Probably you just want to comment on that. Probably you're in a senior position, you just want to say, um, from what I can see, we need to improve this and this and this. So comments are just something you can be able to implement. Let me just reduce this. So you see here, I can just come and add my comments. So mostly this will be able to also work once you share you, as you can see here, I have the option of sharing my data. Remember, most workbooks, you can imagine some contain a lot of information. Imagine like a company like Ferrari or something like that. You want to talk about the model of the car, the make of the car, when this came in, probably there was a repair, probably this new spare part came in, probably this engine model came in, and it's it's highly unlikely that you'll find that only one person is working on that specific worksheet. So, or probably just that Excel document, and it has different worksheets in reference to that. So if probably you want somebody's to do something that's in their line of work and you share, so you can just add an email or something, and then you can send it to them. So now you can also mention them here. You can just be like, at now search directory to search my email directories, or probably if I have added this to be to I have, remember also Office has like its own contact page, so you can just do that, and then you can just tag them, probably Mary, and then so it will search for Mary. No, Mary, I don't have a Mary, and then say please, um please edit this column well. And if I send, um, they shall be able to get that information. So it's just that. So I can also delete this, that comment, that is. So we also have formulas. So you have calculate workbook. Um, for this, it's just like how I came ahead and did the auto sum. So if I just do Control Shift and then drop arrow, and then okay, you can see automatic. Oh, yeah, the values are here at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see them. So let me just increase this font at the bottom. But it's just increasing at the top. But they're here. Average, it's 5,729. Your counter 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the sum is $40,100. I can also get the minimum, the maximum to also be displayed here. So that is what happens with my workbook calculation. So I hope that has been noted. You can also have formula auditing, just to show the formulas. I believe this is after you have been able to give probably a conditional for each cell which you shall look into. So we can now have the data sort of ascending. Some are just repetitive, descending, custom, connections, refresh all connections. So this, for the data, these are tools to help work with the data. So the connection is to connect data from live sources, that is data that is changing. Sometimes you might be implementing live data. Probably you're taking in data as, probably you can imagine like as people enter a supermarket or something like that, or probably as people are, yeah, let us use the ATM, as you're removing and accessing the ATM, there's something that is recording that input or whatever you're doing. So this is something we can just use to keep on to connect to that live data. So when you refresh, you just get the data as it has been adjusted. So we have the custom sort. Probably want it to be sorted in a custom way. So that is something probably you can imagine, like for ID number or passports. Those are numbers which probably the machine or your compiler might not be able to figure out exactly how to know which one is starting from. Okay, for the ID number it's easier, but for the passport, which is alphanumeric, um, you need to give it a custom that probably during this period our first output was A. The numbers were probably in between 2000 and the last output was G. So now it will keep on increasing based with that, and it will not be able to sort based with that. So when you just look at the data set, you can be able to know, okay, this data set has been sorted customly for this organization specifically. And then you can just be able to filter. Yeah. And then we have now the data tools. So this removes duplicate, data validation. Probably you have given a specific condition to be met. So it validates that that data has met that condition in that specific row. These are things we shall be able to do. Flash fill, these are, okay, I think I can be able to show flash fill right now. So for example, with our data set with emails, yeah, yeah. So for example, yeah, I can create a column called full name, full name. And then now I can come ahead and say the first one is white man. White man. Okay, sorry about that. White man. Brutal. Okay. So once I do that, I can now come ahead and say no, that has copy pasted all of it. I want it to do the same for, let me undo that. Okay, let me just do the second one. Because it has to realize there's a sequence that I'm following. So tree, trim bay. Okay, let us see if it will now accept. So I just choose those two. Let's first pick the first three. Oh yeah, to click on flash fill. So yeah, so you can see it has been able to do the same for all the others. So you can see now this is this. This is Maggie. Where are these names coming from? Okay, Lori Bain. So that is that. Leah else. So that is that. So I didn't have to do that for all that. So that is the beauty of flash fill. I can also be able to just have the email, though these emails are, I think they're taking the first, just the first acronym and the last one. So wait. Okay, this email will not really help us, but let me assume we have something like, let me just copy paste this email and edit them a little bit, and then get a full name from the emails. So how can I do that? So okay, what I did is with the flash fill, let me just undo this. To undo, you can also do Control Z. So once I have given it once I have given a compiler like a system that I'm using, so I have basically taken the first name and the last name, yeah. So I will now just filled in the first two. I think even if I did, let me just do the first one, you see. So and then I click flash fill. So it automatically does that for the rest. So I hope that has been seen, Wairemo. So as I think you can just do acronym. I don't know if you can take acronym. Nani Duri. Okay, no, let me just get this email how I envision it in my head, and then we can just be able to implement that. Just let me see if I can get a different worksheet. Okay, we can delete this worksheet first of all. So let me just get a different worksheet, paste it. I will remove I'll just use a few. Okay. Um, Let me actually do this. Let me undo this. Okay. So what I will do is I will just pick a few. Control. Yeah. So let me just fit that. So what I will do is probably I'll just change these names to Kenyan names. So just start with Wambui. Wambui. Brittle. So just remove these things that we have there. Let me see. There's Amos. Okay. Um, so don't mind how I match them. And then let me just remove this digits. So this is just something that you shall probably you specify how you want the people to input the data. That is the assumption that probably you have only told them to input their full names in their email. So I'm just taking that assumption. I have Brenda. And then we have Ralph. So I'll just remove all this. Peter. Okay, so what I will come is what I will do. Okay, what has happened? Okay, just come in as a link. Okay, so no. to? Okay, I don't really need to. So I wanted to just give it names, column names, but I don't think we need to. I don't take a lot of time there. So I'll just increase this width. So I can give this to be Wambui. Brittle. Let me just do for the second one. Amos Trimbe. Okay. So I can now come ahead and say flash fill that. We looked at the data, we didn't see a pattern of filling the values. So use the, okay, I think it's because I have given them capital. So let me just make that small. Yeah. So in case you have that, let us see. It should accept. Okay, I think I should remove the space as well. But it will beat the whole, okay. Amos. Yeah, so it has now just highlighted the name. So I think it's also important how your user is in inputting the data, but now also in there's something we call data cleaning. So data cleaning is making sure that the data is able to be analyzed. So you can see in this form, I couldn't have been able to figure out a pattern because we have numerics, alphanumeric, some of them is analyzed. So you can see like for this Ukuligan, it has an apostrophe here, but it doesn't have here. So it will be hard for the compiler to understand that there's a pattern there. But I just wanted to show you guys that. Okay, so that is flash fill. So remove duplicates, probably for this, like what we have here, I can just, because this is adjacent to this data, I might not want to remove the duplicates here. So not unless, no, I might just not want to remove the duplicates here. So I can just come ahead and copy that. And then in a new sheet, probably here, I can just now paste it. And then I can now come and say remove duplicates. So select one containing the duplicates. So 48 duplicates are removed. So you can see that here the duplicates have been removed. Now we just have chill. Have they really? Okay, let me just remove Control Shift up to here. Let me just highlight that that's what I want to be removed. But we have polygender and polygender, binary gender fluid, polygender again. So let me just do this. Let me separate it completely. So I can also hide these columns. So to hide, okay, this is not cooperating. Let me, so I can just pick a new column, paste it. Yeah, so let us try and remove this binary, I mean this duplication now. Okay, so yeah, no, it has actually removed the duplication. So the thing with duplication, it's better if the data had also duplicate name. You see now these are unique names. So even if I was to remove here, you can just imagine it will not have really performed as would have expected or left our data sets as would have expected. So to remove this green, you can just press escape and it goes away. So you can also group the rows and group the columns. Which you can be able to do, but these are okay. But we shall look into that because I feel like with this data set we are limited on what we can be able to do. So and also ungroup. So that is that. So also have the review. So workbook statistics, that is something we have here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it when you click on it and just be able to see the end of sheet is at F61. So what that means is that this column at the 61th row, and then cells with data at 366, tables 0, formulas 0, sheets there are 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, cells with data 1184, tables there are 2, formulas there are 4. So just gives us that statistics, spelling. It can go to check accessibility. Have you been able to for people, have you are they able to just like when you come here to the share, you can limit that some people can
Excuse me,
only be,
Stella.
yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is inquiring how the emails were converted to a clickable link. How did you do that?
Okay. What happens is whenever you have the email address, it normally comes with something we called mail to. So once I think also the thing is that um I really didn't give it. It was here. Yeah. So the emails normally just come with something we called mail to. Even if I send you my email address on WhatsApp, you can see if you click on it, on that, it will come as a highlighted part. And then if you click on it, it will either take you to your Gmail or something of that sort. So that's just a feature that comes with emails. So what also affected this side, I think it's because I also didn't give it a heading. So it just came, so I can remove the hyperlinks so that it stops becoming an, an a link, so that whenever you are probably somebody accidentally clicks on it, it doesn't lead them there. But emails automatically come as a link. I'm so sure that is something that you guys have experienced. Let us try and type an email and type my email in the chat section. So if you see on the chat section, it has automatically come as a link. So it's just something that happens with emails. They come with the mail to something they write. I think they write it like this, mail to. So like that. So that is that. Okay. So I have removed the hyperlink so that it stops in case there's somebody clicks on it, it doesn't come with a link. Mhm. Okay, so for accessibility, as I was saying is when you make it accessible to somebody, is that somebody also able to edit it or just look at it. So this is something that you can be able to do even when you're sending your CV or your resume. You can be able to say that person can only be able to um, see, they're not allowed to edit. Sometimes somebody might edit. So, and even if you probably signing a contract, and now with the world of virtual, probably somebody sends you a contract and you already agree with the terms, and the only thing they have already signed on their part is just you being able to sign your part. It's important that you make sure that that document, when you're sending it, somebody is not able to edit it, so that probably you don't get later on you're being told, no, these are the conditions you signed, and maybe probably you have been there for some years and you can't even remember. So yeah, so you can remove editing. You can also set an expiration date that after this duration, that document will not be able to be accessible. So this is something you have seen even with forms. It has a date that apply for this job up to the 31st of March. After that, that form no longer is existable. And then you can also set a password such that for somebody to be able to access, which really helps with security. For you can imagine worksheets with information for companies, like salaries people are given. That's not something you want everybody to access. So you can set a password such that even if it falls on the wrong hands, as long as they don't have a password, they cannot be able to access it. And then you can also block download, such that somebody is not able to download that um, file. So who would you want this link to work for? Anybody with link? So for my case, I'm using a student account, so I can only say only people with this domain. So you can even see if you're just in an organization, probably they are using the email attached to their organization. So you can only say people only with this email, this type of email, they can be able to access. And then probably you can see people with existing access. So this is something that a workbook or a worksheet or a workbook is just something that is being built on as you progress. So you can just, and the first people who are able to work on it and operate with it, only those people can be able to access. And then you cannot limit to specific people. So, and you can also just specify that. So once you say the specific people, for the if I can allow the editing and all that. So if I click on apply, now I can, only the people who have my email address can be able to get that email, and I can also copy the link. So that is that. Okay, this question is, how have you gotten the link settings options? Daudi, do you mean what okay, so you just come here to the share, you'd have to share this document with some people. So when I just click anyone can edit. Okay, this is just for managing access, links given, direct access. So it also shows who is me, that I'm the owner. So if I click, I just get the link options here. So this is something that is very important with relation to security, because we don't want data that is not supposed to be shared by everyone to access that data or that Excel workbook. So that is that. So yeah, so that is now for accessibility. So new comments, delete comments, previous comments, just following up on the comments, show comments, convert all notes. I don't understand that one. So we also have the sheet view to be default. So I believe we can't be able to, can you keep, no, exit, so rename, okay, keep busy. So it just changes how that is operated. So options, view one. So once I alter the views, I believe you're able not to, can even delete. So for my case, I didn't like it. So I can delete just how you view the sheet. And then zoom, yeah, just zoom in on the sheet or something. Um, New window, freeze panes. Maybe there's something that um, you want to operate on and you don't want the other columns or rows to be affected. So you can freeze and do that. And then so that we shall be able to look at. So headlines and grid lines. So if I remove the grid lines, that's what happens. It stops having grid lines. So for what we had as this with the headers and all, okay, this is the one which had really main headers. This, so I can remove the headings. So it's so it removes this actually, the A, B, C, D and everything. So for the grid lines, just remove them. Yeah, so we no longer have a grid line. Okay, so this can be effective, probably removing the grid lines, probably if you want to embed maybe this, maybe whatever data you have, probably in a website or in a document. So that is something that you can be able to use with that. So and then you have the help. So you have contact, feedback, keyboard shortcuts, what you can be able to use, and whatever is new. So, so there's something I did here that I'd just like to touch on before we go. If for example, I don't know if it's clear, maybe with the view, I can be able to zoom in a little bit more. Let me just do escape. Yeah, so zoom in just a little bit. I don't know, I hope you guys can see. So, but what I wanted to show you is that if you compare this sheet with this sheet, you see here category, product, sales, and rating. And for this, I only have 3 columns. So what I have done is that I have hid some of the columns. So what I can do is to unhide the column. Okay, first let me show you how to hide and then we unhide. So like for category, you just click on it and then right click and you can be able to hide your column. Okay, so for me to unhide this column, um since I can't see it, right? See, it's already been hidden. So you have to click the first, the first and the second, and now unhide it. Okay, because it's not supposed to work on its own. Yeah, that's not it. I'm supposed to be able to unhide it. Yeah, so wait, I might have changed. There were how many columns before? We just do Control Z. I don't know if it will be able to unhide. Oh yeah, so it's this category that I'm looking for. So let me hide it again. Okay, so is that it's adding here. Oh, okay. It's supposed to unhide here. Okay, Tabu, let me try the other one. I don't know why it's becoming stubborn. Oh, wait. One thing is you should select all. Oh, but that's just for any. No, it should be working. Let's try for this. Oh, yeah. Okay, let us try again for this. Then I will see if probably. Okay, so what happens, you shouldn't even do the unhide. I don't know why it's not working with unhide. So you just hide, let us hide this first. So I can hide up to more than 2 columns. So just like I had done before. So once I do control to click on both, and then in the middle where you have, once you hide, you will notice that at the top it becomes double lines or parallel lines. They're no longer singular like the other partitions. So if I just click, I mean, if I just click on that, yeah, it comes up. So I will just do the same for this column. It, yeah, for this column and this column, because the column is in between. And then right click on it. No, don't right click. Just click enter. What is happening? Sorry guys. The art of learning. Okay, let us increase this width. So if I okay, it's decreasing actually. This refused. So yeah, there were how many? Is there another one? Okay, all of them are here. Whew, okay, let me repeat it again. So I'll just click on the header and hide it. And then you see that where there's a double column now. So make sure you first control click the 2 columns adjacent to that double partition, and then right click. No, it's not right clicking. Double click on it. Double click on it, not right clicking. Double click on it. So I don't know why the unhide is not working on my case. So probably it will work on yours. So let me try again with multiple, just to drive that point home as we wind up. So it's, I'll hide. What am I hiding? I'm hiding. Let me hide this. Cells. Okay, so I will control click B and E because that's why we have this double line. Double click So it gives me the first partition. The first column is back. I now control click this and this because that's where we have our double partition. Double click again. Actually, I think there's another one. Why isn't it coming along? Okay. We do this again. Double click. Okay. Yeah, so I think when make sure there's no other cell at the outside part being clicked. So just make sure it's that and that. So yeah, so I have been able to show you what I wanted to show you for today's class. And I would just like to end it there. So tomorrow we will look into it and we'll get deeper since this is a 3-day series. So tomorrow I'll mostly do statistical functions and data visualization, and then yeah. So I will share the data set we shall use on the WhatsApp group. So the WhatsApp group link has been shared on this chat. So if you haven't seen it, you can just say you haven't so that you make sure you have. Other than that, yeah, we have come to the end of our class. So see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella, and thank you all who stayed from the beginning until we ended the session. Yeah, so I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I will try my best and upload the recording tomorrow in both our YouTube channel and our LinkedIn. Yeah, thank you. If you have any inquiries, you can inbox me personally or you can tag us on Twitter at DataUN. Thank you. Good night, everyone.